Wake up, Benny, Henry said, gently shaking Benny's shoulder. We're here. Benny yawned and sat up.
Has the bus stopped?
Look outside, Violet said, leaning across the aisle and pointing at the trees. See, the trees have stopped moving past the window. She swung her lavender sweater around her shoulders and stood up. Jessie reached for her bag, which was under the seat, and slid across to the aisle. I'm eager to see Joe and Alice Alden, aren't you? Yes, Violet said. It's been a long time since we've seen our cousins. As they moved up the aisle to the front door, Henry said, It was nice of them to invite us, wasn't it? Yes, Jessie said. We had such good times on Surprise Island.
And camping out and finding Bill McGregor,
Benny said, wide awake and looking out the window.
Oh, I can't wait to go to the amusement park that's near Joe and Alice's.
Then he rubbed his nose.
I'm sorry, though, that we had to leave Watch with Grandfather.
Watch will be fine, Benny, Henry said reassuringly. Our dog will keep Grandfather company, and Mrs. McGregor will look after both of them.
Jessie patted Benny's hand. One of the first places we'll visit will be the amusement park, Benny. Benny's face brightened.
Step lively, the bus driver ordered. They took the big step down off the bus and onto the ground.
Where are Joe and Alice? Violet asked, looking around. Oh, they'll be here, Jessie said. They're always on time. Henry glanced about the bus station and noticed a big sign with the town's name, Pine Grove. Suddenly, he broke into a wide smile.
Right over there,
he shouted, pointing at a handsome young man. Benny waved wildly.
Hi, Joe!
Hi, Benny, a young man called, rushing forward and swinging the 6-year-old boy around in a circle. Benny yelled with delight.
Hello, Joe,
Henry said, stepping forward. Joe grabbed Henry's hand. It's good to see you, Henry. He stepped back and studied the boy. You're almost as tall as me. Henry's dark eyes sparkled.
Well, I am 14.
Joe shook his head and turned to Jessie. He brushed the girl's cheek with a kiss. What a young lady you've become, Jessie. It's hard to believe you're 12 years old and Violet is 10. Jessie smiled. I'm glad to see you, Joe. Where's Alice? She's working at the museum, but she'll be home in time for dinner, Joe said. The young man looked over Jessie's shoulder and drew Violet forward. Violet's cheeks grew pink. Hello, Joe, she said shyly. You can tell you and Jessie are sisters with that brown hair and those brown eyes. Just like you, Joe, Jessie said, a twinkle in her eye. Joe laughed as he threw their suitcases in the back of his station wagon. Welcome to Pine Grove, he said. I'll show you around after you've unpacked and had a cold drink. Even in the North Woods, it's hot in August. The children scrambled into the large car, and Joe drove down Main Street. Pine Grove was a pretty town surrounded by large pine trees. The children were all eyes as they rode past the library, the drugstore, the grocery store, a dress shop, and the Indian Museum, where both Joe and Alice worked. They hadn't gone very far down the highway when Benny shouted,
Look, there's a man in trouble!
There on the side of the road was a pickup truck with its hood up. The back end was loaded with cameras, stands, and lights. Joe braked the station wagon and got out. Hi, he called. Can I help? A tall man with a red cap poked his head around the hood.
No, thanks,
he said with a smile.
I already called a tow truck, and it should be here any minute.
Benny had already jumped out and was studying the equipment on the truck.
Are you a picture taker?
He asked. The man threw back his head and laughed.
Me? Ha ha ha! No, I don't know a thing about photography, my boy. I'm just delivering the stuff. Ow,
Benny said.
I see.
Losing interest, he climbed back into the station wagon. Joe returned to the driver's seat, and they started off. He made a right turn, then a left, and slowed down when he went by the Pine Grove Amusement Park.
Oh, boy!
Benny exclaimed.
Can we go to the park and eat cotton candy?
You bet, Joe said. I thought you kids might enjoy biking there tomorrow. Biking? Henry asked. Joe chuckled. Yes, Henry and Jessie can use our bikes, and I've rented 2 more.
Oh, hooray for Joe!
Benny said.